Fox News, Romney again declined to promise release of more of his tax returns. On CBS this morning, the president defended the tone of his campaign.
The more detailed we get into what he's saying and what I'm saying, I think that serves this democratic process well.
Within the hour, the president takes off for Ohio, where he will step up to charge that Romney's tax policies would send jobs overseas.
Well, the New York Times said that Romney is close to making up his mind about a really made independent announcement to say this week. CBS News senior political producer Carolyn. A survey of business economists shows growing pessimism about the short-term outlook for the economy. It says retail sales fell in June for the third month in a row. Industry analysts were reflecting trends.
Looking back at the categories that were very strong earlier in the year, for example, building material and America down 1.6%, so the national drop throughout the summer really affecting spending there.
The job market is recovering, but the tide isn't strong enough to move all boats. We'll have the CBS News correspondent.
70% of the service industry jobs lost since 2008 have returned, but only 15% of jobs in manufacturing, construction, and related fields. It's jobs back, fewer than 1 out of
1,000K stream right now. Hope it looks okay. Good morning to everybody watching.
Attempt is being made to let the public know who's bankrolling the super PACs that have become such a force in political life. CBS News congressional correspondent Bob Fox.
The airwaves flooded with political ads paid for by super PACs. Democrats are renewing their efforts to require disclosure of who's paying for them. A handful of extremely wealthy Americans are pouring money into these super PACs, and House Democratic leader Nancy Pelosi says it threatens democracy where it can lead.
a plutocracy, government of the rich.
The Senate will have a vote this week on a disclosure bill. House Democrats are pushing for votes to, but they'll get it. As Republicans want to leave things the way they are. CBS News.
The government report that was released today is expected to put the Trump is so close to the top of the all-time list. Behind those from the 1930s and 1950s, the Mississippi River, which was flooding farms and homes a year ago, so low in spots that barges had run around. Frank said it had CBS News. FM Talk 106.5, the Gold Coast Weather Authority. Coast Weather Authority. Look down at your parking lot or driveway lately. Need asphalt work but unsure who to trust? Let All South Asphalt and our asphalt guys be your solution. I'm Lloyd Morrison, and I'm Mike McKee, owners of All South Asphalt and Paving Company. We specialize in commercial and residential parking lots and driveways. We are the asphalt guys. We need an economical solution. Have your asphalt seal coated with our commercial grade seal. All South Asphalt has some skills that can't learn before. Call 251-4456 or check us out at allsouthasphaltcom. Free evaluation. There is a difference. Remember, allsouthasphaltcom.
July is sign and drive month at Kobe Subaru. For only $259 a month, you can drive off the lot in a brand new 2012 Subaru Outback 2.5i with no down payment. This is a true sign and drive offer. No gimmicks or tricks. Come to Kobe Subaru on the Westline Highway. Just stop by Subaru and pick out your Subaru Outback today. Payments start at only $259 a month. This is a time offer, so hurry to Kobe Subaru. Sign and drive Subaru policies for 10,000 miles per year with no money to a signing and no security deposit with credit plus tax tag and title service. We have seen this over accidents, but nothing new. States ever say the same thing. It's heavier traffic on eastbound and westbound I-10 from Range Line to 90. No real delays yet as you're traveling across the Bayway, the Causeway, Fairhope, and Daphne. As heavy traffic on 98, also on 181 now getting back to the interstate with accident-free so far. Now's the time to book a special memory with the Southern Belle Dinner cruise ship from Alabama Cruises. You can enjoy a sunset dinner cruise with your family on Fowl River from Bellingrad Gardens and Homes. Your weddings, birthdays, anniversaries, any special event on the Southern Belle. For reservations, call 973-1244 or go to alabamacruises.com. And I'm Kane with your Skywatch traffic on FM Talk 1065.
Mobile mornings on FM Talk 1065, 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Plane Sean, Dr. Bill, who said it's going to be just like it was over the weekend. Very hot, humid, very humid. High temperature around 93, 94 degrees today. We'll have a 20% chance of a scattered shower as well. All right, we're ready to turn up your reports. You can reach us at 343-0106. Yeah, I was kind of looking through emails over the weekend, what folks were concerned with. Smoking bans that did not go through City Council last week. One of the subjects we talked about at 343-0106. One of my pet subjects we'll talk about this hour, and that is where Alabama stands as a net gainer from federal spending. Mary Troyan in the Washington Bureau of AL.com found a story, kind of like how we rank, how much money conceivably each citizen in Alabama would get from federal dollars if you broke down the state. But, we talked about this when we talked about Richard Shelby. We talk about pork all the time. We don't like those politicians that get all that pork, unless they're our politician and they do a heck of a job of it, which Richard Shelby is. Well, the gold one. Let's throw all the bums out. Well, except our bum. Right, because we like our bum is good. We go back. Also, coming up this morning, we'll look at the federal government's trial against Milton McGregor and who's going to serve jail time. Of course, 2 times they tried the case against Milton McGregor and several other people, actually a dozen, and didn't get convictions on any of them. But the folks that turned state's evidence that worked with the feds, they're going to see the inside of a jail. I'll give you some details on that story coming up this morning at FM Talk 1065. And the president and Mitt Romney over the weekend, it was back and forth and tit for tat, and who was the outsourcer, who said what. Rahm Emanuel even chimed in on this. Here's Rahm Emanuel, who now, of course, he's got his own problems. Right, his city that he's mayor of, Chicago, is essentially as rough as some areas of the Middle East. Yeah. But he had time to say this about Mitt Romney. Stop whining. Defend. If you want to claim Bain Capital as your calling card to the White House, then defend what happened to Bain Capital and what happened to those jobs that went overseas, those jobs that were actually cut and eliminating the companies that went into bankruptcy. It seems like this would be easy to solve by determining once and for all at what point did he leave the company.
I had no association with the banishment of Bain Capital after February of 1999. That's when I left the firm. I'm very pleased with the experience I had with the firm. But as everyone knows, I went off to run the Olympics for 3 years. I was there full time.
I mean, do you think that he's lying about that? Stephanie Cutter, the Obama advisor, kind of hinted at that. She said this.
What world are you living in that you're not in charge? What American understands that you don't bear any responsibility for the decisions that were made at that company if you're at the head of it? If he wasn't the head of it, who was?
So, isn't it easy to just determine when he left? And is this so much? It seems like a red herring to me. It seems like something to distract us.
I don't know why it's that complex.
He was either there or he wasn't there. He either had something to do with the decisions the company was making or he didn't.
While we're also talking about the president, one of the subjects up this morning is the president feels like that if you've created a business, if you've been successful, you didn't do it on your own.
Oh, yeah.
You only do it through the help of government. And Robbie's in Mobile. Robbie, you want to talk about the president's speech?
Yeah, I heard you guys a while ago, and I appreciate everything you said, but I think the one thing that you guys left out was the fact that I'm a small businessman. I grew up in a business family, and the president doesn't realize that in order to be successful, that you got to assume the risk that it takes to make that money. And that's the main thing I think you left out, and I just wanted to comment on that.
Well, I think, and it's a good perspective as a small business owner, Robbie. I mean, when I heard what the president said, you could take those things, I guess, at first blush and go, oh, that sounds right, that sounds good. But at the genesis of the president's comments, that's where he and I just divert that far back. He believes that government is a benefactor of the people, and I believe government works at the will of the people.
Well, I'm a big sports fan, so that tells you something.
I know everything about
Enough said.
Good stuff, Robbie. Appreciate the call. 343-0106. What the president was getting at.
Yeah, I'll give you the quote. There are a lot of wealthy, successful Americans who agree with me because they want to give something back. They know they didn't. Look, if you've been successful, you didn't get there on your own. You didn't get there on your own. I'm always struck by people who think, well, it must be because I was just so smart. There are a lot of smart people out there. It must be because I worked harder than everybody else. Well, let me tell you something. There are a whole bunch of hardworking people out there. If you were successful, somebody along the line gave you some help. There was a great teacher somewhere in your life. Somebody helped to create this unbelievable American system that we have allowed you to thrive. Allowed you to thrive. Somebody invested in roads and bridges. If you've got a business, you didn't build that. Somebody else made that happen. The internet didn't get invented on its own. Government research created the internet so that all companies could make money off the internet. The point is that when we succeed because of our individual initiative, but also because we do things together. There are some things just like fighting fires. We don't do that on our own. I mean, imagine if everybody had to have their own fire service. That'd be a hard way to organize fighting fires.
A very good tact that the president takes, because if you just listen, surface listen, you can probably agree with most things he says. But if you delve below the first layer of paint there, to me, there's a sea change of difference between what the president believes and I believe about government. Where I stand, and the founding fathers stood, is we employ government to do the things that the private sector needs done.
Yeah.
These are defense, these are infrastructure jobs,
and we pay taxes to pay for those things.
That's right. When we go vote, to simplify this, we hire